from Los Angeles, it's the Tom Leykis Show.
You're naughty.
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning in to the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No, I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. Here we are together again on the radio. And I've got a question for you, and I want to see what kind of answers we get. Many of you are living with alcoholics or drug addicts. And the people who do this frequently are not themselves alcoholics or drug addicts. We hear about codependency and, of course, we've seen movies like Leaving Las Vegas, or old movies like Days of Wine and Roses. You know, there's plenty of movies about alcoholics who get married, alcoholics who live together, alcoholics who date each other, drug addicts. But I'm willing to bet there are many of you right now out there who are not addicts of any kind. You're not a drug addict. You're not an alcohol addict or an alcoholic. And you're with somebody who is. Why? Why are you there? You know I'm right. I don't know why you tolerate it. Now, people who smoke too much pot, those people rarely get angry or nasty. Dangerous. They forget things and they can be annoying sometimes, but you know what? They're not going to kill you. They're not going to stab you with a kitchen knife or anything like that. But many alcoholics and addicts of other drugs, cocaine, crack, cocaine, heroin, these are people who have serious problems, and you could get hurt. I want to know why you're there. I want you to tell me why you're there. When I'm in Seattle, I can't tell you how many women I meet who live with heroin addicts. And they just sort of take it for granted. That's the way it is, you know, that's life. Why? I want you to tell me why you do this. So if you're living with a drug addict or an alcoholic, and you are not a drug addict or an alcoholic, I want you to call me and tell me why you're there.
Tom Leykis. Tom Leykis. 1-800-800-TOM.
You sound like such a real nice guy.
I am anything but a nice guy.
The Tom Leykis Show. Tom Leykis.
Yes, it's the Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. We appreciate it. All right, you're living with a drug addict or an alcoholic. Why? Angie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tom. How you doing?
All right, Angie.
God, my God. Hold on. First of all, really quick. Long time, first time. Love you to death.
Thank you.
Okay, real quick. I'm just real excited. I lived with, just a little feedback on the topic. It's just a hard situation. I lived with a heroin addict for a good 6 years. He, when I got with him, didn't know he was a heroin addict, fell in love with him, yada, yada, stupid. Had a kid, killed himself within a year.
You had a kid with a heroin addict?
Yes.
Why?
You know, Tom, I was young and dumb and stupid and learned, cannot believe what I've learned over the years and listening to you and with your guidance. But had a kid with. I just thought I can change him. To be honest with you, I thought he would love me enough that I could change him and make him the man I always wanted.
Women need to be cured of this disease.
It's sad, Tom. It's really sad. You know, listening to you makes a lot of sense. Anyways, I'm with a cool guy now. Smokes a little pot here and there, but he's a great guy. Has his head on his shoulders, ambitious, makes good money, and it's just a real shame that these girls. That's what I totally think is why 90% of them, Tom, stay with it, is they think that they will love him so much that they'll make him change, you know? I'll get him to stop. He'll love me enough this time. And honey, if you're in this boat, walk the hell away now, because you'll never change him. I have a baby who's 5 years old. I'm a single mom. I know your whole gig on that, but it really wasn't my choice for that guy to kill himself over it. But just
has your son asked you where his dad is?
She's a little girl. And I didn't want her to have to ask Tom, so far I've kind of just said your daddy died over drugs, and when she's old enough, she'll know that, you know, I'm never going to keep anything from her. I don't think lying to your children is the right way, but I don't think she's old enough to comprehend it at this point. So he died over drugs, and that's what happens when you do them.
Yeah.
So it's sad, but you know what? I'm making an awesome life. I got an awesome career. I got a great job. I take care of myself. I just bought a brand new home. I'm on my feet, and I feel really proud. It is an honor to talk to you.
Thank you, Angie.
Hey, you take care, baby.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Dan on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Good evening from Seattle, Tom. How are you?
All right, Dan.
Well, this subject I can't even believe it came up. Not only a few days ago, my girlfriend and I broke up. She is a raging alcoholic and basically got me put in jail because of it. And now my life is...
She got you put in jail? What, she claimed you were beating her or something?
Yep. And the police came to the house, and her choice of weapon is wine. And I don't drink. I rarely drink because I grew up in an alcoholic family, so it's not worth it to me. But so police came. They seen what was happening just as I was leaving for the door because they wanted to split us up. And they said, as he put his hands on you, she said, he touched my shoulder, and boom, I got a DV for it.
Wow.
And my life is screwed because the job that I have, actually you and I met in Seattle at Seahawks Stadium, and I was applying for a job that requires a security clearance, and I can't get one.
Oh, boy.
Because I have a freaking criminal background now. And, you know, and it sucks because here I am, I'm 42, and I love this girl to death. I mean, she is probably one of the most intelligent people I know until that one glass of wine.
Now, did she acknowledge being an alcoholic?
She never will. Not to this day. Her father's an alcoholic. Her brother's is a doctor who is in drug rehab. You know, he's quite the self-medicator. And she refuses to even acknowledge that she has an issue drinking.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
And so what happened when you left?
It's still tough. It's only been a few days, you know. I mean, I really enjoy her company. I love talking to her. Like I said, when she's not on the wine, she is phenomenal.
Did she try to get you not to leave?
No, actually, it kind of came to a mutual agreement, you know, and I think she got tired of me saying, just like your last caller said, I can change you and all that other good stuff. That'll never happen, ever. I mean, people need to realize that if you're with an alcoholic or a drug addict, they've got to change. No matter how hard, whatever you tried, until they realize they've got the issue or they kill somebody or maim themselves, they're not going to change. And, you know, I've told her that a gazillion times, and enough was enough. You know, I'm 42. I need to have a life of my own.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we moved out here from Detroit, which I listened to you out there.
Uh-huh.
And I wish I'd never moved back to Seattle. I mean, this last year's been the worst part of my life.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and it's just totally screwed.
So where are you living now? An apartment, a hotel? Where are you living?
I'm living in an apartment. And it's actually nice. I mean, I've got some freedom, and, you know, I like that. But we have a no-contact order. And all it would take is for her to get all soused one night and call the cops, and I'm done.
Ugh.
You know, for my own safety, I mean, I've got to walk away from this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people need to realize that if there's a no-contact order in the state of Washington, they don't play games. People go to jail for months for talking to people with no-contact orders.
Wow.
Yeah, it's extremely serious, and I hope your listeners are paying attention because the law does not mess around here. And I did touch your shoulder. There was no physical to it. I mean, crud, you have more contact. When I shook your hand at Seahawks Stadium, I had more contact with you.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't see it that way. And it was a female cop, whether that has anything to do with it or not, but they placed me in arrest and with a domestic violence charge, and I spent 3 days in jail. Because
Wow.
Yeah, and, you know, I know what I went through, and it's like I said, this has been the most traumatic part of my life. And people, please, heed what I say. You know, if you're with somebody that's either an alcoholic or an addict, you need to leave.
Leave. Don't stay. Why stay? Doesn't make any sense to me. Dan, good to hook up with you again on the air here. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Are you living with a drug addict or an alcoholic? Why are you doing it? Josie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
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 Hi.
Hi.
Up?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
What's up, Tom?
The ratings, Josie.
Greetings.
I said the ratings.
Oh, the ratings. Yeah, well, that's cool. I'm happy to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised that I'm not even stoned right now.
Oh. Well, why did you call?
Because you said to.
But what did I say to call about?
About somebody that's addicted to drugs or something.
No, that's not what I said.
Or that lives with somebody that does that. I live with somebody that smokes pot a lot. But I'm a pot smoker also, so.
So you're an addict and he's an addict?
Yes, she.
She?
Yeah.
I see. You're a lesbian?
No. I live with my aunt. She's my roommate.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes, yeah, she could trip sometimes, but.
But what?
She could trip like, she gets in her mood sometimes, but I just stay away from her, like, when that happens. Like, she gets moody, or, like, she will start arguing about stuff, and they'll get out of control and stuff. But other than that, it's not, like, a big deal living with somebody that...
Sure it is.
Well, I mean, yeah, if it's, like, crack or something, yeah.
Well, I you know what? I don't believe that people are addicted to pot.
Oh, okay.
So you really didn't understand the question, did you?
I probably didn't.
Okay.
I just wanted to call to be on the radio.
Obviously you did. Maybe you should have smoked a little weed before you called in. 1-800-5800-TOM. It's Kim on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Kim.
I was calling because I was with my boyfriend for 6 years, and the past, 3 years, he became a crackhead. And, what made us break up recently is he went to prison for 2 years. So,
that's what made you break up. It took that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what happened is I went away this summer for a trip, and when I got back, he literally had pawned everything in the house, the TV, the VCR.
Is that how you found out he was a crackhead?
Yeah, basically.
So you did not know he smoked crack before that?
Well, I knew he did occasionally, like when he went to party with his friends and stuff, but I didn't know it was that bad.
What made you think that you could just smoke crack occasionally?
Well, I don't smoke it, but
But you've read about it, right?
Yeah, I just
heard about it?
Yeah, I guess. But
and so what made you think that you could just do that every now and again like you're smoking a cigar?
I don't know. I just thought it was like someone who did coke on the weekends when they drank with their buddies or something.
You know, coke, by the way, crack is coke.
Well, yeah, I know.
And coke is addictive. There are cocaine addicts. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, what made you think the man you were with was not an addict or was not going to be an addict?
Oh, just pure stupidity, I guess.
Okay,
for,
I'll buy it.
6 years.
Right.
So, you kind of hope that it's, you just hope for the best, but, eventually you got to just get rid of them.
Right. And so what, the last straw was when he went to prison for what, stealing stuff?
Yeah, he actually robbed someone, tried to steal their wallet, and he got caught and got armed robbery, strong armed robbery.
Now, if he hadn't gotten caught, would you have stayed with him?
Well, I had actually kicked him out of the house, so probably not. I hadn't technically broken up with him, but I had kicked him out of the house after.
Why had you kicked him out of the house?
Because he had, basically stolen the stuff, pawned all my stuff.
That was why you threw him out.
Yeah.
But until then, you were happy with this relationship?
Sort of happy. I definitely wasn't happy, but I was dealing with it.
Why were you even dealing with it? I mean, a relationship is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to add a dimension to your life. Why would you be doing this?
Just because we were together for 6 years. I mean, that's a long time, and I don't know. I just.
Don't you think when someone smokes a crack pipe, that's a sign of a big problem?
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, but you didn't back then.
No, just stupid. Pure stupidity.
So he came on and said, guess what? I was at a party and I smoked crack, and you said, that's great, honey.
I don't know. I just dealt with it. I guess I didn't think it was, I don't know, because it wasn't really around me, I just didn't really care, I guess. I don't know. Pure stupidity, Tom, I'm telling you.
Now, if you met another addict, would you get with him?
Oh, hell no. I would stay clear away.
Does that include heroin?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
And crystal meth?
Oh, yeah, no, I would not even be with anyone that did any kind of drugs.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Kim, thank you.
Okay, thanks again, Tom.
Appreciate the call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Kayleen on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going, Tom?
Great.
Yeah.
And you got the radio turned on, which is going to confuse everybody.
Yeah, I'm trying to get away from it right now, actually. But I'm not on a cordless phone, so it's kind of hard to...
Why don't you just turn it off?
Okay, can you hold on for half a second?
Oh, boy. All right, half a second.
Okay.
Time's up. Oh, Jesus. You know, tell you what.
Hello?
Yes. All right, put your pencils down, everybody. Yes.
I was just calling because, I live with my father and my brother right now. My father, who's an alcoholic, my brother, who's addicted to crystal meth.
Why are you living with them?
Because right now I'm currently unemployed.
And you're unemployed, so that's just a great situation over there.
Yeah, it's not really the best. I'm just doing what I can to get back on my feet and get out of here.
How long have you been unemployed?
Oh, for only about a month now.
I see. What do you do?
Well, as far as a career choice, I don't really have one yet. I'm still, really young and I haven't gone back to school yet.
Why not?
What's that?
Why not?
I've been putting it off so I can get a stable job.
I see.
The last 3 jobs that I've had.
Don't you think you'd get better jobs if you had a college degree?
Yeah, I do.
Wouldn't it make sense to go back to school now while you're still relatively young?
Well, yeah, I'm going to, and I was going to go during the summer, but I'm pushing it back till fall.
Why?
Because I want to get an apartment and get out of, my family's hair before I kind of do that.
Yeah.
Got a couple things to pay off, my driver's license and just some past bills.
How did you get into such a mess?
How did I get into such a mess?
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, long story. I was with my ex, who pretty much took just about everything when we broke up. And from there, at the time, I spent about 3 years working for the strip clubs.
Oh, boy, there we go.
Oh, I wasn't a dancer.
Yeah, but still.
What's that?
It's still.
Yeah, still.
What kind of business is that?
Yeah, it's, it's fun, but it's crazy. So I've pretty much spent, since that big breakup being, really broke and trying to get back on my feet.
Oh, my God, it's depressing just hearing you tell that story, for God's sake.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Like us on Hot Talk 1080 KOTK.
This is the Tom Leykis Show.
From Los Angeles, 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Are you living with a drug addict or an alcoholic? I want to know why. Julie on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I am living with someone who I believe is a pot addict.
All right.
I never thought that you could be. I didn't know. I thought actually that it was more of a hobby for him. But he convinced me before we were married that it was just a hobby and it wasn't a big deal and yada, yada, yada. And we even set down some rules about, when we get married, it was going to stop. It was going to be more of a, I wasn't going to say don't ever do it again because I could understand that he'd been doing it for a while. But if it was a casual, if you go out to a party, I wasn't going to be, irate about it. But once we got married, of course, then things changed, and he just kept moving back that timeline for when it was going to happen. And we're still having the problem now. I have a problem leaving, though, because I don't have any family around, and I am a stay-at-home mother of 2 children.
Why did you have children with somebody who's an addict?
Well, I didn't know he was an addict at the time.
So you didn't figure it out until after you had 2 children?
Well, no, after I had the first one, and that was the biggest mistake. I'll tell anybody now, especially women that, you know, are getting involved in a relationship. I pretty much took someone for their word as to when they were going to stop. And I never knew anybody who actually could be addicted to pot. But, you know, I found out later on that he was just changed basically all the rules afterwards. Which I think, you know, if the situation had been reversed, if I had said, you know, this is what I'm going to do and this is how I plan on living my life and yada, 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 to get you to marry me, my husband now tells me now he said what he needed to say to get me to marry him.
Wow.
Yeah.
But the point is, though, and this is what I'm trying to point out, people who get themselves into these situations, and not to beat you up, but having a second child with somebody once you knew he was an addict, that's crazy.
I know. Like I planned on leaving, and he'd stop. He'd do everything he needed to do, and I said, I'm not having any more kids with you. I'm leaving. I will move home to be with my family. And once I started packing my bags and headed for the airport, it was, you know, we have a child, and I didn't want to, you know, have to go back to school or go back to work and put my kid in child care for 12 hours a day, and let's work this out, and I don't ever cheat on you, I don't do anything else, so please give me a chance to work this out. And he did it for a little while, and right back to the beginning, I totally acknowledge, and I think, like I said, to anybody that I think is getting married, if you see someone and you see behavior now, do not get married until you see it change. And a lot of times it won't change for good. If you can't live with that person as they are right now, don't do it.
Well, most women think, as I always say, women think they're Bob Vila. They like buying fixer-uppers.
Well, I told him straight up, you know, if this is how you want to live, I'm totally fine with it. I just can't do it, and we can remain, you know, well, we should break up. Let's call this up. He acknowledges now that he did everything in his power, said everything he needed to say to get me to marry him. And not so much that, as I've been listening to your show a little bit, but I've heard you talk about women trapping men into getting married by having kids. My husband is a doctor, and he, for the duration of us dating, you know, first I was on birth control, all the other stuff, he convinced me that it was messing with my system and all this other good stuff, so to get me off of that. Then we were using condoms, of course, and he said, you know, we're going to get married, yada, yada, yada. Let's go with the natural method of timing it. And he tells me now, too, that he got me pregnant because he just swore up and down that he knew during, you know, with my ovulation cycle when I could get pregnant and had me believing on this cycle. Totally lied. He plotted all this out. And he says now, well, I had to do what I had to do to get you to marry me.
Oh.
Can you believe? And I've heard people on the show, and I've heard you, and I mean, I don't agree with everything, but I hear what you say, and I totally understand that there are situations. But I've always said I'm going to call him one time and let him know that it can be the flip side of that. It can be the flip side. There are the men out there who I from day one said, you know what? As soon as we know this isn't going down the right path, let's call it quits and quit wasting each other's time. And he was just awestruck that I would just say that, and basically realized that, you know, I'm not someone who's going to cling on. And he did, it's not like I'm just believing it. He tells me now, he did what he had to do, said what he had to say. Please stick with us, don't give up on me, yada, 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 yada. You want to, you know, we have a good life, I provide a good home, I provide a good atmosphere. You know, you can leave now and you can put your kids into child care 12 hours a day to go get you a job, but who is it going to be hurting in the long run? So he'll guilt me into staying for a while until I can probably get back, you know, with my surroundings and my family and realize that, you know, and I acknowledge he doesn't do anything, you know, I don't have to worry about him cheating. He's never.
Yeah, well, who wants him?
Well, that's the funny thing is, you know,
I wonder how many women get with guys like this for that reason. Well, he'll never cheat on me.
Well, it's not so much that he'll never cheat on me, but, you know, he treated me very well, and it was a really good relationship. Again, I just thought it was kind of a, you know, when I was in college, I was one of the few people who didn't get high that I saw around me. So it wasn't anything that, like, took me, now, it wasn't like the girl who said her boyfriend was smoking crack. There's no way. I thought marijuana, there's casual marijuana use, not a big deal, yada, yada, yada. But I never thought that this would be a situation that would overcome it. He hasn't done any other drugs. I would never even, you know, and for me to be considering leaving over pot smoking, there's just no way that I would even be with someone that did anything else.
Well, sounds like you do a lot of rationalizing even to this day. Music. Tom Leykis Show at 1-800-5800-TOM. All right, you're living with a drug addict or an alcoholic. Why? Jennifer on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello?
Is that a question or a statement?
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
My husband's a crack addict.
A crack addict?
Yeah.
How did this happen?
When I got pregnant, I guess he went to a hooker and started smoking crack.
He started smoking crack when you got pregnant?
Yeah.
So he had never smoked crack before that?
Well, that's what he says. I don't think so.
Uh-huh. All right, so he started smoking crack. And how did you react when you heard that he was smoking crack?
Took him to rehab.
You took him to rehab?
Yeah.
And, of course, it didn't work?
No.
And he continued smoking crack?
Yeah, it's been 6 years. And he does about once a month now.
Why do you tolerate it?
I guess because no matter what I do, he's always worse. And I feel better than him. You know, if I'm fat or lazy, it doesn't matter because he's worse.
But now, let me understand something. Dino tells me that he's stolen from you?
Yeah,
He's stolen from you. What has he stolen?
He takes all of our money, and when the babies were young, he'd take the food money.
Uh-huh.
But his parents help us out, so I had to tell them. And
how many children do you have?
2.
Why did you have a second child with a crackhead?
Well, besides being stupid.
Because you're stupid. Yes. But, of course, what was the reason in your head at the time you did this stupid thing?
I thought it would change him.
You thought that would change him?
Yeah.
Why did you think that?
That if he had to be more responsible, he would be.
You believe that?
Well, I don't now, but...
I see, but I'm amazed that people ever believe that.
Yeah. Well, I tied my tubes after that.
Why do you stay with him?
I don't know. Hearing you say that it's dangerous, I've never even thought it that way.
Your children are growing up around a crackhead. Don't you care about them?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
you
think that's a good atmosphere for your children to grow up in?
No.
But you don't do anything about it. You don't care.
No, well, I mean, right, we have a good house and it's a good neighborhood now, and I think, you know, I can't supply it.
It's not as good as it would be if the crack addict would move out of the neighborhood.
Yeah, you're right.
You have a crack addict who steals from you, who lives in your home, and who is raising your children.
Yeah.
And that's okay with you, is it?
No, I guess I keep waiting for him to go to jail or die, and...
Oh, you could dial up 911 today and take care of that.
Really? I could just call him and tell him he's a...
Does he have any on him?
No, but well, he has.
He what?
No, in February he tried to get me to do some. He brought it home.
He tried to get you to do so.
Yeah.
But obviously, if he's an addict, he has it every day, every week, right?
Well, not here.
Where is it?
Well, I don't know, maybe at work.
You don't know where it is? How do you know he's smoking crack?
Well, no, I've seen it, but I told him I would call the cops if he brought it back to the house.
Right. So he does it underground. He does it to other places. It's in his car.
Yeah.
It's in his desk drawer.
Yeah, I think I can control it.
You can't control it. It's crack.
Yeah.
You are in complete denial, and moreover, you are an enabler. You're codependent.
Do you think he'd stop if I just left? I mean, he swears he'd just...
I don't think you will have anything to do with whether he ever stops. At all. He loves crack more than you. Think about it.
Yeah, I got some thinking to do.
Well, you should have been doing it all along. Having 2 children with a crackhead was not a responsible thing for you to do.
No.
And by the way, you used your children. You tried to use children to get a guy to give up crack.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Was that fair to your children?
No. No. Now they're just missing him and...
You did that.
Yeah, well... I don't know what I can do now.
Well, you better make the best of what you can make the best out of, and that means the sooner you stop this situation, the better it'll be. It never should have happened.
Yeah, you're right.
But what happens if he goes to prison and your kids have to see that? You ever think about things like that?
No, I think I can hide it from him.
Hey, Daddy's sitting in his car smoking crack and the police pull up. Then you have to explain to your kids why the police took Daddy away. Don't you ever think about the situations that could come up?
No. No.
Do you ever fight with your husband?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And do the kids hear the two of you fighting?
Yeah.
And you think that's good for them too, do you?
No.
Well, what exactly do your kids get out of this situation?
I guess it's money.
Drug addicts are the most selfish, dishonest people in the entire world. And the people who marry them are enablers who help them to deceive the world, make excuses for them, call in sick for them when they can't go to work or won't go to work. And you have children, and they have to be exposed to all the yelling and screaming, and you don't care. You don't care. Your kids come last. It's all about your husband, and then secondarily, you. To the point where you actually made children to try to affect your husband's behavior.
Yeah. I guess I thought I was doing it for them. Staying.
But you had them for selfish reasons.
Well, yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, your second child was not born because you wanted to have a child. Your second child was born in hopes that his birth would make your husband be more responsible. He was nothing more than a tool. Right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And you know who caused this whole situation to happen? You.
Yeah.
Because you, at least you're not a drug addict. You know that your husband is sick. You know it. And you won't do anything about it.
Well, yeah. He says he can still get custody even because he can't prove it. He'll stay clean long enough to get custody.
Well, dear, you had your opportunity to call the police when he was smoking crack at home, if that's really what you wanted to do.
Yeah, you're right.
But you didn't care enough to do that, did you?
No.
No.
Well, thanks, Tom.
I'm here to help, dear.
1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Let's say we bring her home and say, well, we just want to cuddle. What do you think they'd think?
We're gay. That's what they think.
Yeah, exactly. That's impossible. If a girl gets into my bed, she's going to get it every way except Tuesday.
It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Michelle, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Michelle.
long-time listener and first-time caller. What's up, Tom?
How much, Michelle?
You got 20 seconds? I love you. Let me tell you. First of all, you're a caller that just called. I just don't want you to blame her, because even being a crack addict, let me tell you, it's just hard. I live with my sister. My sister passed away in 98. She's a big-time meth user, and let me tell you, she cooked it. She died from it, basically. But let me just tell you,